Hey crew, I've got the key to the Audi Nuvolari. This vehicle is Audi's new Halo model. It won't be cheap. It's not going to be produced in high numbers. They're looking at 499 examples worldwide, starting at $680,000. It went from an idea to this vehicle we're seeing in front of us in just over 400 days, which is absolutely nuts given the cohesion of the package I'm looking at here. Of course, we had the concept C that then sort of materialized into this, and my theme as I've been chewing on this car for the last 2 hours has been there's different in the car design world, and I'm a celebrator of different. But you have the degrees of different, like the Cybertruck, where at first you see it and you're like, that's kind of interesting, I appreciate they're trying new things, and then every time thereafter that you see it, you just develop a bad taste in your mouth. And then there's different like this, where honestly, my initial impressions from the photos that I first saw was not positive. It looked a little awkward, but then seeing this now in person, I just can't wait to spend more time with this car. I want to unpack more with the design and of course then with the driving experience later on, because there is so much granularity, so much detail, so much attention and focus on all the different angles and all the different functionalities of this car. And that excites me. And it creates such a distinct impression from, of course, the Lamborghini Temerario, which shares its powertrain to a certain degree and the underpinnings with this car. This vehicle also has an aluminum space frame architecture and a carbon fiber body like the Temerario. It also has a twin-turbo V8 that is mid-mounted here, along with 3 electric motors, 2 up at the front and 1 hooked up to the gearbox at the back. It will have all-wheel drive. This car will make 987 horsepower, which is 80 more horsepower than the Temerario, and it will get to 60 in 2.6 seconds, and it'll have a top speed of 217 or more miles per hour. Let's unpack this design. Now, unlike most supercars or hypercars, the Nuvolari doesn't have hips really. It's a bunch of clean flat panels, sharp creases, and the only real curves to it come from the carbon fiber lower valence up front and along the side and then around the back with the diffuser. Otherwise, this sheet in the matte finish is beautiful in its simplicity, and you can get it in exposed carbon. There's going to be a tinted carbon and some other colors as well. The wheels are going to be just uniform. This is the only design of these wheels they're thinking of. They're forged alloys with a center locker, and that is the only wheel from Audi that has had that feature. And these are also some ultra high performance carbon ceramic brakes. They're absolutely massive. The tires are Bridgestone Potenza race tires, 255 section front and 325 at the back. So back to the design overall. They've hidden all of the aerodynamics within this very clean sheet body. You've got this functional S-duct here within the grille, and by the way, this is all made from aluminum. Everything that looks like a certain material is actually that material. It's not plastic. The Audi rings are milled aluminum as well. Anyway, the air flows in through here and out over the duct over that windscreen. Then we've got some ducts here just inside the headlight, and here for brake cooling, and then ventilation off to the side. These LED headlights have a little welcome signature they'll show you. Coming to the side, the air is going to flow along the body and into this side duct and up high. That is going to go to the radiator and to the turbochargers. The air is going to flow into the V8 engine there. It's actually giant and hides the door handle. And as I open up this door, this is one of the coolest side opening doors I've ever seen, because when you look at it from this angle, it's just been chopped right here, and you can see that functional airflow in through there. Coming into this side, you really see all the cool air flowing into the intercooler there and then up high as well. Looking at the cabin, what I really appreciated, one of the first things I noticed was this side blade design, which is reminiscent of the Audi R8 and is one of the few places it actually says the name of the car, Nuvolari, right there, which by the way is recessed. It also says Nuvolari on this door cell, and this one is where one of the serialized numbers will show up and customers will be able to choose their number. Anyway, so that side blade design from the outside is continued here as a theme on the door, and I love that. There's also this rich leather here, some suede, and then this, boy, what is that, rose gold or platinum or something finish on there, and these are all real metals, and this just looks so substantial and it feels great. That's the door release right there. The seats themselves are covered in suede and are plain like the exterior with a strip of leather and suede. They're also fully manually adjusting. These look very reminiscent of certain seats, the sport buckets in the Temerario. There's a crank on the side for back angle adjustment. This is your height adjustment, and this is the manual slide forward and backward. All feel really substantial. And then there's suede all over the footwells, leather up high, more suede on the dashboard, and this is a detail I love. Just listen to this click. Just very satisfying action, and I gotta do this again. Just listen to this. Quality! This theme, or this notch here, the mechanical looking notch on the side, is continued here on the center screen. Then underneath that screen, there's more suede and 2 USB-C ports. This center console doesn't open up to reveal any storage. It's just covered in leather, and your drive selections are here as big metal physical controls. The storage in this vehicle is really limited. Not only is there none in the console, you don't have any cup holders, you have that little sliver underneath the screen, and then this cubby behind the front 2 seats. There also isn't a frunk. That's all being used up by airflow, and so you don't have any storage up there. So if you want to bring luggage with you in this car, best of luck. Hopefully you can fit back there. That's going to be your preview window into the twin-turbo V8. Right now it's not a finished look because this is a pre-production car, but obviously your visibility out the back is, well, nothing. So there is going to be a digital rear view mirror to help you with that. Let's go over to the driver's side. Actually, before that, we got to talk about the back end of this car because it's my favorite look. Just look at this back end. It's a single piece of milled aluminum with all of this grating, all this ventilation, and the 2 center exit pipes coming out of one housing, thin LED taillights to match the thin LED headlights up high, massive carbon fiber diffuser, and this is where you're getting some curvaceousness. There's also a ton of underbody airflow manipulation, and then up high you have these louvers over the engine. This is all in aluminum. They didn't want this car to have a giant rear wing either, and so they hid the active aerodynamics of this spoiler in this flat panel that moves into 2 different positions. They also put the Audi rings as these recessed metal pieces within the carbon fiber. This takes work to look this clean, and the effect is awesome. Moving inside now, I'm gonna sit on this sill and then scoot over because it is a very low vehicle. You don't have a big door opening, not a big ingress. The steering wheel in front of me, covered in suede, flat bottom to it, and just like Audi performance wheels in other cars, I love this. It's not overly thick. It fits my hands perfectly. The notches at 9 and 3, looks and feels sporty, but just not overly done. Then here, the center screen I talked about, there's not a whole lot for me to show you, but then here the digital gauge cluster is going to reconfigure, has that high resolution we see in other Audi products. This is going to feel a little reminiscent of the Temerario, the 4 individual knobs to control things like your launch control, some race options for the track mode. You have your active rear spoiler, and then this is your drive mode selection, and pressing that will lift the front end. So as I turn this, right now we're in hybrid mode. As I turn it, it's going to move into balanced, and if the car is on right now, which I don't think it is, I have to hit the start button one more time to go actually on, and then if I turn it once more, the gas engine is going to trigger on. And it is going to rev to 10,000 RPM. Right now it's not fully warm, it's showing 9,500, but that is just absurd. Just like the Temerario, revving to that astronomical motorcycle-like red line is just glorious. But when I rev this car, and I will do after it's warmed up just a little bit, I want you to hear what I feel like is not the same breathlessness of the Temerario when it reaches its red line. This feels like it's got a little more to it, a little more substantial, more grunt. I like the acoustic profile of this better. Let's listen. All right, here we go. Oh, the pops. Yeah, I got Joseph's face just going like, oh! Middle of that rev range is just beautiful. I love the pops and snarls, but then you get up to the peak and it doesn't sound as hollow to me as the Temerario. I feel like it's got a little more to it, and I like it that much more. It really is that sweetness of a V8 soundtrack with all of the rev range and the light flywheel, how quickly it revs, of a high-performance motor. Before stepping back out and talking about the powertrain, I wanted to just go over the steering wheel one more time. We've got the turn signals there, lane keep assist system, your headlight selections, your cruise control is the only stock on this wheel. Then we have these large aluminum paddles in the back. Good travel to those, sort of a thudding action of pulling, not a click. Maybe they'll adjust that before it hits production. Launch control I already mentioned. This is your track drive mode. There are going to be 3 different traction control settings for track mode, your wiper selections and speed, and then this is going to be how you change the view of the display. Let's step back out. So I mentioned twin turbo V8. It's going to make about 800 horsepower on its own. Then you combine the 2 axial flux motors up at the front with a radial flux motor that is going to be hooked up to the gearbox here at the back. The combined output, 987 horsepower. I don't know the torque figure offhand, but it is going to be sent through all 4 tires. It also has active torque vectoring, and that is going to be housed within the center of the car. It's going to be able to sense what you're doing while you're driving it. It's going to respond in fractions of a second, so it's going to perform as best as possible. At this point, you might be wondering what Nuvolari means. If it's the first non-alphanumeric name applied to an Audi, it's got to be significant, and indeed, Tazio Nuvolari was. He was a 1930s F1 driver for Auto Union, which became Audi, of course. Storied within the company, tons of respect. He was known for pushing boundaries, just breaking through walls. And that's what they think for this car. This car is just breaking barriers for Audi. And indeed, the design really is. This is the halo model, meaning it is going to lend its design characteristics to future Audi models. And if they look this awe-inspiring, of course, they can't all be halo models. They can't all be supercars. But if they have this sort of drawing you in, want to learn more about them, I'm on board for it. And the back-end view of this car, I just have to come back to it. It is so stinking cool. Cars don't look like this on the road. This looks so futuristic, but not in this sort of oddly just dystopian era thing. It looks like something I just want to drive. I want to spend some time in. And I really do. I can't wait until I actually get time behind the wheel. Once again, just recapping for you, they're only going to make 499 of them. They're going to cost from $680,000, and they're going to hit U.S. shores in early 2028. What do you guys think about this car? Is there anything you want to know more about it when I finally get time behind the wheel? Let me know. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this preview. I'll see you next time.